All right, folks, let's settle down and take your seats. Today's class is about to begin. First of all, I would like to thank you for being here. Good to see your smiling faces, your enthusiasm, and your willingness to learn something new. Today's lesson is about a pistol, what is called an ultra-compact pistol by Bersa, the Thunder 45 Ultra Compact. If you will, open your textbooks to page 630 so that you can follow along with me. The Bersa Thunder 45 Ultra Compact is one of those guns, like a weird uncle, that no one talks about, or really wants to. That's too bad, really. The Bersa Thunder 45 Ultra Compact, like that weird uncle, is a very interesting little character. Built on lines resembling that of some Sig Sauer pistols, the Thunder 45 Ultra Compact is no longer offered by Bersa. It still can be found if you look hard enough. In fact, I find it interesting that a 45 caliber pistol of any sort is not available at the Bersa website, with only 22 caliber, 380 ACP, and 9mm being currently available. Stay tuned, because I am going to tell you all about one Bersa Thunder 45 Ultra Compact pistol, or as I will refer to it, as simply the UC. Comparable in size, the Bersa Thunder 45 UC could be considered an all-steel alternative to the Glock G36. The grip, like the G36, is chunky, but you can expect that out of a pistol with a staggered 7-round magazine that provides a 7+1 initial capacity of your favorite 45 ACP ammunition. The grip is short, and you will like the magazine extension if your little finger hangs off of the grip. The gun, when loaded, has a good balance feel to it, and you know that you are holding a handgun of sufficient weight to drop your pants to the ground if you do not have a good belt to support its carry. An accessory rail is integral with the frame and provides you with a mount for your favorite accessories. The matte finish of the slide was the gun's weakest spot for me. Apparently, there was a chemical reaction from the chemicals used in the plastic bag to ship the gun with the finish on the slide. This caused splotching of the finish. I have seen some bad examples of this on the web, and should be something that you are aware of when you inspect the gun before purchase. On mine, the finish was just uneven on the slide, giving it a mottled sort of look. Finish on the frame was still adequate, but the finish tends to wear quickly, especially at all the sharp points from rubbing in the holster or for other reasons. I really did not expect a top-of-the-line finish, and I was not disappointed. The finish is proprietary, however, and it is just not a surface finish. It is part of the metal and not just bonded. As the sides of my 45 UC were splotchy in places, I started rubbing with some flits just to see if I could help the finish a bit, and ended up using a Scotch-Brite pad on the sides of the slide. It started to look a little on the dark pewter side. It actually was adding a little character to the gun, a patina if you will, and my effort was somewhat satisfying, if not cheaper, than having the slide refinished professionally. There are no signs of rust whatsoever. The cost of refinishing would be greater than what the gun is worth, and would not add value to it, except for appearance. Occasional wipe downs with a silicone-treated cloth helps matters. Getting to other matters, the sights are typical front dot and rear outline style sights. The sights are fairly large and easy to pick up and align. Front sight is fixed, and the rear sight is drift adjustable for windage. Front dot on my gun is wearing, and I put a dab of fluorescent red on it to brighten the sight picture. Chambering a round raises a loaded chamber indicator that is above the slide. The indicator is tactile, but unobtrusive. The Thunder 45 UC features an improved Browning Petter barrel locking system that provides reliable feeding and ejection. The external extractor grabs the fired casing from the chamber, and a fine job it does. The chamber supports the case very well, with a little being unsupported, an important point to some hand loaders. With a magazine inserted, the rounds align with the chamber at the topmost portion of the feed ramp to ensure positive chambering. The chamber faces downward when not in battery to assist in the feeding process. As the slide moves forward into battery, the barrel is firmly locked into place. Out of 600 plus rounds so far through the gun, I have not experienced any FTFs using factory ammunition. A dual recoil assembly helps to recoil and returns the slide to battery in good order. The slide guide is full rail with a full-length recoil rod to help in the accuracy department. Slide play is minimal, and the barrel locks up with very little play. However, the gun does rattle slightly when in battery. Takedown and assembly is very simple as with any pistol that incorporates a takedown lever. For example, Sig Sauer and the Beretta 92 FS M9. Safe the firearm, magazine removed and chamber empty. With the slide in the battery, hold the slide and frame together. Press the slide lock lever downward 45 degrees and remove the slide from the frame. To assemble, insert the slide into the frame until the indent on the slide aligns with the slide lock lever. Push the spring-loaded slide lock lever up, it will snap into place, and then release the slide. The trigger housing is large enough for gloves, and the serrated front of the trigger housing allows a good surface for those who like to rest a finger on it. The trigger is nicely curved and incorporates a built-in over-travel stop. There is very little take-up in double-action mode until you feel resistance. From that point, you will pull on the 10-pound trigger for another 0.56 inches until the hammer drops. The trigger is smooth throughout the pull with no stack points or signs of grittiness. In single-action mode, the trigger moves rearward with the hammer. When pulling the trigger, you will feel about 0.125 inches of slack until the trigger encounters resistance. From that point, there's about another 0.1875 inches until the hammer drops with authority. The trigger rest point is where the trigger meets resistance when pulling in single action mode. A nicely checkered black polymer grip provides the handhold for the firearm. An indentation provides a rest for your thumb and positions the thumb so that operating the controls is within reach, with the exception of the magazine release button. A nicely arched grip helps mate the grip to the shooting hand. If you get the hand too high on the backstrap, however, and If you have a fleshy web of the hand, you may experience a hammer bite, as I have, during fast fire. My shooting hand starts riding up on the grip. For that reason, I added a grip sleeve to help hold my hand in its rightful place on the grip. The grip sleeve adds a little extra dimension to the grip, but it does help me maintain a constant grip when my hands are sweating or cold. The polymer grip manages to slip in my hands at times. The grip removes from the gun as a unit. A single screw, located at the bottom of the grip, holds the unit in place. Removing the grip assembly requires a word of caution. To remove the grip assembly, press the retaining screw inward with a small screwdriver and then rotate the screw 45 degrees counterclockwise. You can then slide the grip assembly out easily from the frame. The screw does not screw out in the normal fashion, and attempting to do so may damage the screw. A combat-enhanced serrated hammer allows for easy cocking or decocking of the gun, if performed manually, and which helps to keep the gun from snagging on clothing. I prefer manually decocking the gun, as it gives me more control over the process. More on that later. Controls, with the exception of the takedown lever, are ambidextrous and laid out nicely with the slide lock lever before the decocking safety lever. The operating surfaces of the controls are wide and provide for a good thumb hold when needed. The slide locks in the rear position on an empty magazine thanks to a well-sprung slide release lever. The slide release lever operates easily with a push of the thumb or index finger of either shooting or support hand. The safety decocking lever allows for safe decocking of the pistol. With a cocked pistol, pushing up on the safety decocking lever allows the hammer to drop to the double action position. For firing double action, a hammer block safety stops the hammer in its downward travel. The decocking safety lever allows the pistol to be left in the safe position, disconnecting the trigger, or press downward into the fire position. With a somewhat heavy and long double-action trigger pull, the pistol carries in double-action mode quite safely. In safe mode, the trigger floats, and cocking the hammer is impossible. The decocking safety lever operates easily with the thumb. The magazine release button is well integrated into the left side of the frame, just behind the trigger guard, but is easily accessible. The button is slightly beyond the reach of the thumb, and I have to change my grip slightly during reloads. The magazine, however, does fall freely upon pressing the magazine button. Magazines are metal and incorporate a friction-free magazine follower. A polymer magazine base provides support for the pinky. The magazine requires no assistance to load, for example, an uploader loader, and the 7-round magazine loads easily. Buying spare magazines can be on the pricey side. Blue steel magazines from Bersa and Condor's Flight are around $39.95 each, with nickel ones running at $42.95 each. Well, with this all out of the way, let me get to a range session with the Bersa Thunder 45 UC. My primary carry ammunition for this gun, because of the short barrel, is .45 Auto JHP 185 grain Hydra-Shock by Federal, followed by 2 magazines of 185 grain Hornady HP XTP. I also have 2 magazines of 230 grain Winchester Supreme Elite Bonded PDX-1 at the ready if needed. But for today, just some everyday range ammo is being pushed through it. As usual, for these reviews, my target was set at 7 yards. The course of fire for the day was that the first shot is double action with subsequent shots single action, unsupported, two-handed, and slow fire. Additionally, since I have shot this gun many times, I had a reasonable expectation of what it would do, but with ammunition that I have never shot through this gun before, there is always that element of surprise. The gun functioned very well with no issues like FTFs or FDEs. I find the gun to be a natural pointer for me, and I have fired it one-hand instinctive shooting. I have had some good results using this method. Not fantastic, but well enough to stop a threat. There was no hammer bite this session, as a quick grip, slip-on grip sleeve for a Glock G19, and my wrist brace really helped keep my shooting hand in place. Let's take a look at the pros and cons of shooting the Bersa Thunder 45 UC. Then I will get to my final thoughts. The Bersa Thunder 45 UC is accurate, reliable, and durable, and is an excellent choice for anyone needing a tough, compact sidearm at a reasonable price. If you like external controls, the Bersa Thunder 45 UC has them, and they are well placed, mostly ambidextrous, and work very well. If you are looking for a compact 45 pistol that says utility over pretty, the Bersa Thunder 45 UC may be the gun for you. Aside from an occasional hammer bite, my fault for having a fleshy web of the hand and wanting to get as high a grip as possible, and which I still carry the scars, the Bersa Thunder 45 UC or the Bersa Thunder 45 UC Pro would serve you well as a defensive carry tool. A grip sleeve, as mentioned previously, will keep your hand in place on the grip during fast fire, but it does add some width to the grip. Although the UC means ultra compact, being somewhat of a misnomer, the big hole in the middle of the barrel says it means serious business. If you are interested, check out a federal P45 HST test with the Bersa Pro 45 UC, or see what the Bersa Pro 45 Ultra Compact can do with 8 rounds in 1.68 seconds. I have placed links to these videos in the description section. Well, that wraps up this review of the Bersa Thunder 45 Ultra Compact. Hopefully you found it enjoyable and somewhat entertaining. Please come back, when you can, for my other firearm and gear reviews. Until we meet again, be vigilant, be armed, and be safe out there.